Let's get started with our first story. Paddy Pimblett sends a warning to Michael Chandler. We're just days away from the highly anticipated fight between Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. Pimblett's been tapped to face the former Bellator lightweight champion on the April 12th card, following his impressive finish of King Green last summer. This is a huge fight for the Scouser, as a win over Chandler could push Pimblett close to the top 5 of the division. Recently, both men appeared on ESPN at the same time to discuss their fight, and while it's clear that Pimblett respects Chandler for what he's done in the game, he's not short on confidence heading into this one. Here's what Pimblett said. He's fought Dustin Poirier, he's fought Justin Gaethje, he's fought Charles Oliveira, all the best lightweights in the division over the past 5 years, but I think I'm gonna make it look easier than they did. Do you know what I mean? They played into Mike's style, they stood there and brawled with him. I think anywhere this fight goes, I'm going to win. Paddy also noted that he has yet to be knocked out, which prompted Chandler to respond. Scousers don't get knocked out, apparently, but they've never been hit by the likes of me. I'm really excited to test his chin. I'm excited to test his heart, his mettle. Of course, both men were also asked to make their predictions for the fight. Here's what Chandler had to say. I'm going to go out there and do exactly what I always do. I'm going to have one foot on the gas and one foot on Paddy's throat. I'm going to throw big bombs and we're going to see if he sinks or swims. He's never fought a guy like me, but that doesn't mean he's not the man for the job. We'll see how it plays out. All I know is I'm going to have my hand raised Saturday night. And here's Paddy's prediction. I think I can finish the fight anywhere. He loves lunging in with his punches. I can see me catching him with a shot on the way in, putting him down, or I could see me submitting him. I don't see why I lose, to be honest. I really don't. Predictions aside, Chandler recently posted a cheeky comment via social media, pointing out that Paddy didn't put on a gazillion pounds in between fights, like he's been known to do in the past. Chandler wrote, "Y'all are mean. Paddy has cleaned up his diet and doesn't get as fat as a boo-boo anymore. See you at UFC 314. Moving on to our next story. Diego Lopes wants to knock out Alexander Volkanovski. One of the most exciting matchups at UFC 314 is the showdown between the Brazilian rising star Diego Lopes and the former featherweight king Alexander Volkanovski, and Lopes is not backing down. In fact, he's promising to do what Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev have already done, knock out Volkanovski cold. Now let's put things into perspective. Alexander Volkanovski is coming into this fight after suffering back-to-back vicious knockouts. First, it was a brutal head kick by Islam Makhachev in October 2023, a short-notice rematch that many say Volk should have never taken. Then, just a few months later in January 2024, Ilia Topuria ended Volkanovski's reign at 145 by finishing him with another clean shot and walking away with the featherweight title. After that defeat, Topuria made the decision to move up to lightweight and vacated the featherweight belt, setting the stage for Lopes versus Volkanovski for the now vacant crown. In the recently released UFC 314 countdown episode, Diego Lopes issued a chilling warning to the former champ. My grappling is dangerous to him, but I see myself winning this fight by knockout. It's a bold prediction, but not without weight. Lopes has made a name for himself as a finisher. His slick jiu-jitsu, wild striking, and aggressive style have made him one of the most talked about fighters in the division, and with Volkanovski showing signs of wear and tear, Lopes believes the time is now. But don't count Volkanovski out just yet. The Aussie Warrior insists that he's far from done, and says fans will see the return of the dominant version of Alexander. It isn't just going to be a finish for you guys, Volk said. You're going to see the dominant Volk that you're used to seeing. So what's your prediction? Will Volk bounce back and reclaim the belt? Or are we about to witness the start of the Diego Lopes era at featherweight? And here's the twist. If Lopes does win, he already has plans for his first title defense. While speaking to MMA Junkie, Lopes made it clear, I win the belt and I will ask the UFC for the fight with Masvidal. He beat me before, but now I'm at the top. He's at the top. It's time. Evloev is still undefeated and already owns a decision win over Lopes back in 2023. A rematch between the two could be one of the biggest title fights in the division. Evloev, he's watching and he's issued a warning of his own. Let us know what you think in the comments. Now to another headline. Jon Jones doubles down on his stance regarding Tom Aspinall. The rivalry is heating up, and Jon Bones Jones is making one thing crystal clear. He's not a fan of Tom Aspinall, not even a little bit. Earlier today, a clip from the Jackson podcast was posted on Instagram, and it quickly started making waves. In it, Jon Jones didn't hold back. When asked about Tom Aspinall, the current interim heavyweight champion, Jones responded bluntly. He said, flat out, "I just don't like Tom. I find him annoying." To make things even spicier, Jones commented on the post with a cool sunglasses emoji and followed it up with a brutally honest explanation. Well, honestly, at this point in the game, I just like the fact that we respect each other. But at the end of the day, this is a business. Doing a press conference with someone, being around him, hearing him, all that stuff, I don't like Tom. He didn't stop there. Jones gave Tom his props, acknowledging, "He's a great athlete. I'll admit, I think he's a bigger threat than Alex Pereira. But I've been fighting the best guys in the world my whole career." But even with all that respect, Jones doubled down on his dislike. It's not about someone being a threat. I just don't like Tom. I find him annoying, and I stick by that. This isn't just a grudge. It's a calculated stance from a man who's been at the top of the fight game for over a decade. And while Tom Aspinall is clearly on Jon's radar, he's not the man Jon sees as most valuable to his legacy. Jones explained, "Alex Pereira? His accolades are incredible. I just beat my 9th world champion. Beating Tom Aspinall, I don't break a record doing that. Beating Alex? That would be my 10th UFC champion. It just does more for my legacy." Legacy is clearly what Jon Jones is chasing. Not just wins, but milestones. While fans continue to debate who the real heavyweight champ is, Jon is thinking bigger. He's targeting names that elevate his GOAT status. And while Tom Aspinall may be the new wave, Jones is still the storm. So what do you think? Should Jon fight Tom and unify the belt? Or should he go after Alex Pereira to add one more champion to his incredible resume? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's talk about Javier Mendez criticizing Merab Dvalishvili after UFC 311. Veteran coach and head of American Kickboxing Academy Javier Mendez isn't holding back. On the recent episode of the Javier and Mo show, Mendez expressed his disappointment in the outcome of the highly anticipated bantamweight clash between Merab Dvalishvili and Umar Nurmagomedov, and he's pointing fingers. Mendez believes Umar did enough to win the fight, and he's particularly frustrated with how the final round played out. According to him, Merab's 5th round antics played a major role in swaying the judges. "When I came back and saw Umar, I walked into the room and saw his hand. And this finger was bent all the way down, broken. My eyes got wide. I was like, whoa, oh my God, what the heck?" That gruesome injury added another layer of respect to Umar's performance. Despite a clearly broken finger, he pushed through the pain and went the distance in a hard-fought 5-round war. Mendez continued, giving his honest take on the fight scoring. "I just said what I felt. I said, Umar, in my opinion, I felt you won 3 out of 5 rounds. Maybe I'm being biased, but in the 5th round, Merab showboated his way to winning. He acted like the victor, while Umar looked tired. And that, Mendez believes, made all the difference. It wasn't just the punches or the takedowns, it was the body language, the attitude, the optics. That's why I feel he took it from you, because you let him. But looking at damage, Umar did more. But when it comes to presence, Merab definitely had that. He showed he was the winner, and Umar couldn't stop him from doing that. So yeah, I can see how the judges got swayed. This raises an ongoing debate in MMA judging. Should perception and energy outweigh actual damage and effectiveness? Merab, known for his relentless pace and flashy movement, definitely controlled the narrative of that final round, even if he wasn't landing much. Meanwhile, Umar, battling a serious hand injury, tried to stay composed, but perhaps appeared too passive in the judges' eyes. Mendez's frustration is clear. His fighter may have lost the fight not because of what Merab did, but because of how Merab looked doing it. So what do you think? Was Merab showboating enough to seal the win, or did the judges overlook the real damage done by Umar Nurmagomedov? Let us know in the comments. Now, onto a wild headline. Fan attacks Conor McGregor at a BKFC event. In a shocking and unexpected turn of events, Conor McGregor found himself nearly attacked by an overzealous fan at a recent bare-knuckle fighting championship BKFC event. What was supposed to be a routine meet and greet quickly spiraled into chaos as the fan attempted to ambush the Irish superstar from behind while he was signing merchandise for fans. The tension unfolded during a brief moment when Conor was interacting with fans, signing gloves, posters, and other memorabilia as he often does during his appearances. As McGregor focused on a nearby fan, a fan from the crowd decided to make a move, trying to jump him from behind in what can only be described as a brazen and reckless attempt to make contact with the UFC legend. However, Conor McGregor's security team was on high alert and they responded swiftly and decisively. The moment the fan made his move, the security team reacted with lightning speed, intercepting the individual before the situation could escalate further. The attacker was quickly restrained, and by the time he was removed from the scene, it was clear that McGregor was unharmed thanks to the quick reaction of his team. In the aftermath, the fan, who appeared to be visibly stunned and confused, was escorted out of the event. Interestingly, a short video clip captured the moment after the incident, showing the attacker being taken away by security, with McGregor in the background. Despite the close call, Conor McGregor remained as cool as ever, flashing a trademark smile to show fans that he was unfazed and fine after the incident. It's important to note that the footage of the attack is available online, but due to YouTube's content policies, we can't display it here. However, if you want to see what happened for yourself, you can easily find the video circulating on various platforms. This incident raises an important question about the safety of fighters when interacting with fans at live events. While McGregor is known for his larger-than-life personality and close connection with his fan base, this encounter is a reminder that the line between admiration and obsession can sometimes be dangerously thin. Fortunately, McGregor's security handled the situation efficiently, preventing any harm. So what do you think about this unsettling incident? Was this just a case of an overzealous fan, or is it an indication of a deeper issue with fighter safety at public events? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Next up, Henry Cejudo catches a hit-and-run suspect. In an unbelievable turn of events, Henry Cejudo, the former UFC flyweight and bantamweight champion, found himself in the middle of an action-packed situation that could have been straight out of an action movie. Last night, Cejudo and his producer Dylan Rush were relaxing at home when a vehicle speeding at 80 to 100 miles per hour suddenly slammed into their neighbor's house. The collision was so violent that the car crashed into the front yard, but the driver and his passengers didn't stick around to deal with the aftermath. Instead, they tried to flee the scene as quickly as possible, which led to a dramatic pursuit. But they picked the wrong people to mess with. Cejudo and his 65-year-old neighbor weren't about to let them get away. Cejudo, always known for his speed and strength, quickly jumped into action and pursued the suspects, eventually managing to apprehend them. According to Henry, one of the suspects even punched his neighbor multiple times before attempting to escape. But that's when Cejudo stepped in. "I lifted the suspect up, slammed him to the ground, and controlled him until the police arrived," Henry said, describing how he helped subdue the suspect. The whole scene was something out of a movie, with the driver and his passengers being stopped in their tracks by none other than an Olympic gold medalist in shiny silk pajamas. Yes, you heard that right. Cejudo wasn't in a gym or in the octagon, but in his pajamas, ready to take down criminals in the middle of the night. In a video posted by his producer, Dylan Rush, Henry gave more details about the wild incident. These kids were going about 80 miles per hour. They hit a ramp, smashed into the yard. One guy tried to flee and hit my neighbor. I had enough. Went out there, picked him up, dropped him, slapped him a little bit. Neighbors got some shots in too, Cejudo explained. The MMA world reacted quickly to the bizarre scenario. One fan tweeted, "Imagine getting beat up by a 5'3" dude in silk PJs. My man finally won a fight. We just have to take his word for it." The situation was a true testament to Cejudo's toughness and ability to handle high-pressure situations, even outside of the octagon. When the police arrived, sources say Henry took about 5 minutes to recover from the altercation, briefly sitting down before resuming his interview. But could you imagine trying a hit and run, only to have Cejudo in his gold pajamas flying at you in the middle of the night? Let's talk about a truly insane story. An MMA fighter stabbed in the chest, and the attacker got knocked out. On Wednesday, MMA fighter Cejudo was going about his day, casually taking out the trash when an unexpected and terrifying encounter took place. While on his way out, he was suddenly bumped into by a stranger. At first, it seemed like a simple accident, but Cejudo's reflexes kicked in immediately. Without thinking, he quickly turned and landed a solid 1-2 combo, knocking the stranger out cold. It wasn't until after the altercation that Cejudo realized something was seriously wrong. He began to feel a burning sensation in his chest and noticed he was bleeding profusely. That's when the horrifying realization struck. He hadn't just been bumped by the stranger, he'd been stabbed. Cejudo recounted the moment in detail. It felt like bumping into someone at a grocery store. I turned, got startled, and threw a 1-2. Knocked him out. Then I stepped forward. My chest was burning. I reached up, and my hands were dripping with blood. The severity of the situation only became clear when he saw the hole in his chest, about an inch wide, on the left side, dangerously close to where his heart is located. In a state of shock but still thinking clearly, Cejudo grabbed a towel, plugged the wound, and drove himself to the hospital while applying pressure to prevent further blood loss. Doctors later confirmed that he was extremely lucky. The stab wound, although life-threatening, had missed vital organs, and Cejudo's quick thinking helped prevent a more severe outcome. Despite the traumatic experience, Cejudo remains determined. He confirmed that his upcoming GFL, Global Fight League, fight scheduled for June is still on. The MMA community has rallied behind him, wishing him a speedy recovery and a successful return to the cage. This unbelievable story serves as a reminder of just how dangerous the world can be, even when you're doing something as simple as taking out the trash. Cejudo's resilience and composure in the face of such a violent attack are truly impressive. We'll be eagerly watching his recovery and hope to see him back in action soon. Finally, Sterling gets honest on O'Malley's recent life changes. Sterling believes Sean O'Malley's recent life changes could backfire. On his podcast, Aljo explained why O'Malley's decision to cut out marijuana, medication, and social media might negatively affect him. Sterling argued that these habits played a role in O'Malley's rise to UFC champion, and removing them could potentially be a mistake. I feel like a lot of the things I've made change-wise in my life are going to attribute to my performance. Sterling said, I decided in 2025, I'm done with social media, having jaded the peen once this year. He continued, yeah, and I added in wrestling training sessions. I mean, of course, maybe he is, but it's just funny that everyone made such a big thing out of it, saying, oh, he's changing his life, he's giving up the Mary Jane. I'm like, those are the things that technically made you who you are and a champion. So like, for someone to tell me, go cold turkey, no more drinking, blah blah blah, no edibles, nothing, I'm going to look at him like, yo bro, this is what got me here, why would I stop? Carlos Prates added, you shouldn't be smoking sickies. These guys smoking Lucy's the day of the fight and not even like one. The man's damn near going through a whole pack, putting guys in the ground. You feel me? So it's like I'm sitting here like, nah, it's gotta be some type of method to the madness about the mental mind frame you have to be in when you're going into the fight. Sterling then shared his honest thoughts about O'Malley's UFC 316 title shot. He tweeted, honest answer, the UFC is going to do what's best for the business and the brand. Would I have liked an immediate rematch due to the circumstances going into the first fight? Absolutely, but I understand the business model better than most. O'Malley is a really exciting guy who has beaten many top 5 contenders, so I think he rightfully deserves it after all the ranked names he has eaten.